Hey there, friend. It's Emily here from Table Life Blog. Today I want to tell you a little bit about a conversation I had with an ex public school teacher. Now, I want to give you a little bit of background first just to set it up so you can know what we were doing. We were visiting a historic site with our homeschool group last week, and I noticed over to the side that one of the workers was just really taking it all in. She was watching the interactions that our kids were having. She was over there smiling and just seeing, what was happening. She was looking at our group and she was just taking it all in. And trust me, there are times when our group is a lot to take in. But anyway, she was watching them, and so eventually I made my way over to her for whatever reason, and we began talking. She started asking me about our group, what we do when we get together, just the general makeup of the group and what happens. And so we were talking about it. Then she asked me some about my family and what homeschooling looks like for us. So I started sharing with her a little bit about our journey and what a typical homeschool day looks like for us. I told her of the things that happen around our table. I told her about the things that happen when we're outside or maybe when we're snuggled up on the couch. I told her about, even nature walks or when we're doing our beach walks. And I was just explaining how we're really blessed because all of these things are part of our lifestyle. It's just who we are. And so we're talking about this. Now, she was certainly just supportive of what I was saying, and she was really echoing what a gift it is to be able to pour into these kids this way and to give them such a customized, personal educational experience. And at that point, I just made the remark that my heart goes out to all of those public school teachers who spend so much time and money and just pour so much of themselves into being trained to teach, and then are told that they can't teach that way. Instead, they have to test, they have to meet these standards, they have to do all of these things because that's what education needs to look like. And I didn't know it when I said that, but she was a teacher. At that point, her eyes welled with tears, and she was honestly wiping tears away because I said that. And I knew at that moment that I had hit a very sore spot, and I certainly didn't mean to. But as I began talking to her, I found out that she's recently left the profession. She left education because she couldn't teach the way she was called to teach. I want to share that with you because I want you to think about this. This is somebody who is called to teach, who is passionate about education, passionate about pouring into children, and they walked away from it because they couldn't do it the way it's supposed to be done. They couldn't do it the way they were called to do it. So today, your challenge, homeschool mom, is to remember that you have the privilege of homeschooling. You don't have to teach to the test. You get to follow those rabbit trails. You get to snuggle up on the couch and read with your kids. You get to be right there. You get to be the cheerleader. You get to be the trailblazer. You get to be there with your kids, and you get to give them the education that they need. You don't have to follow what you're told to do by a boss. You don't. You don't have to follow what the government tells you to do. You can meet the needs of your child where he or she is at, and you don't have to answer to other people for those individual day-to-day decisions. Now, sure, you may live in a state or an area that has certain restrictions or certain regulations. Yeah, that's very possible. But for the day-to-day, you get to pick what your child does. You get to decide. Nobody is telling you how to educate your kids. That is gold. It's a privilege to homeschool. It's a privilege to teach our kids this way. And it's a privilege to leave them with this impression of education. So remember today, you get the joy of doing this. You get the privilege of doing this. You don't have to. You get to. Remember what it must be like to be a public school teacher. who's told, you can't do it that way. You have to do this. Remember that you have the privilege of leading your kids down the educational path that's best for them. That's it for me today. I just wanted to share that with you. I hope you find that encouraging. I hope you remember that it is indeed a privilege to homeschool. But I will see you again soon. Until next time, happy homeschooling.